Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. Today I'm smoking my Falcon Shilaliegh with I think this is the brandy snifter bowl. I think that's what that one's called. And in it, I am smoking Condor green. Don't have a whole lot of that left, but I like to smoke it every once in a while because I love this tobacco. But I'm just down to that little bit left there, so it's like I just smoke it as a treat now. But I want to thank Stonehill Minstrel because he was the one who sent me a bunch of packages of that, and I love that stuff. It's a cold day today. Down in the low 40s right now. It's supposed to get down to 27 tonight. Have a freeze warning in effect. Let's see what time it is. It is 11:05 on the old pocket watch. They scheduled my cataract surgery for May 13th on one eye and or May 14th on the left eye and the 23rd on the right eye. So, and I'm going to have one will be farsighted, one will be nearsighted. It's called monovision. I had that done years ago when I had LASIK surgery, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I didn't have to wear glasses at all, and didn't need reading glasses, anything. It just was perfect. And so my surgeon said that I will have probably 20/25 vision when it's all over because my left eye has a bit of an astigmatism. So my distance vision, she said, maybe a little, just won't be perfectly sharp. But 20/25, I'll take that any day. Any day of the year. She said if I look at my distance right now, that's what it would be like. And I see better without my glasses than I do with my glasses for long distances. So I'm looking forward to that, getting that done. So I was watching the other day. I watched like several hockey games in the past few days, and it just brought back memories of when I was real little, and I used to watch hockey on my dad's black and white little tiny TV that he had in his bedroom because my sisters wouldn't let me watch it out in the living room on the big TV. So I'd ask my dad, "Can I go watch the hockey games on your TV?" And he'd say, "Yeah, go ahead." So I'd go back there, and that's when I first discovered hockey. It was a Boston Bruins and Montreal Canadiens game, and there were just fights everywhere. This was back when Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito and Derek Sanderson, those guys were playing for Boston, and you know, you had all the greats for Montreal, that Montreal always had the great players. And but man, I just remembered how exciting the game was when I was young, watching hockey, and it was just so dang exciting, you know. And I I remember the Bruins had a power play, or the Bruins were in the penalty box. The Montreal, the Habs had a power play, and they were playing in the Boston Garden, and every time Boston got the puck, they'd shoot it down the ice to kill off time on the penalty box, and the place would just erupt. I mean, it was like the greatest play in hockey was that penalty kill where they just shoot the puck down the ice, and the place was just going nuts. And I just remember thinking, this is just so exciting, man. And then they quit showing hockey on television for the longest time. It wasn't on regular TV, and I didn't have cable. And then in the early 90s, I got cable television. And they started showing Hockey Night. I think it was on, I want to say TNT, but I'm not sure it was TNT. It might have been USA Network. I don't remember what network it was on, but it was either Monday night or Tuesday night. They'd have Hockey Night. And the announcer was Mike Emmerich. Mike Emmerich made hockey so freaking exciting to me. Every play was explosive. I mean, every play was explosive. But he taught me how important the little things were that were going on in the game. Like the penalty kill, you know. The way he announced the game, he taught the game as well. And he was just, every game, no matter who it was the biggest game of the year. I mean, it was just, when he announced, that's how it was. It was just exciting. This is the greatest game in the world and the biggest game of the year. And it didn't matter who was playing. I didn't care who was playing. I would watch anybody play hockey. I'd watch any teams play hockey, especially when Mike Emmerich was announcing the games. He was just so exciting. And he's still with us. He's just retired. But I miss Mike Emmerich. He was something else, man. He was just so exciting. And my wife couldn't stand him. Oh, my wife could not stand. But she couldn't stand the noise of the hockey game, especially when she was pregnant. She was pregnant with Sadie, my oldest. And she'd be in the bedroom, I'd be out in the living room watching the hockey game. And Mike Emmerich had it. Everything was just jacked up with Mike Emmerich. It was, my heart was pounding and everything. She'd come out of the bedroom. My wife would come out of the bedroom. She goes, "Can you turn that noise down? Because I'm about to have a dang heart attack in there. Listening to all that screaming and all the noise." And they had microphones, at like ice level, so you could hear every slap of the puck and the ice, the skates, kicking up ice onto the boards, and you just heard everything back then. It was just amazing. It's a lot different now. And Mike Emmerich, he just had a great way of announcing that just was so kind of like Howard Cosell was with football. Just everything was bigger, in the moment when Cosell was announcing the game, whether you liked him or not. It was the biggest thing that was ever happening, you know. And but Mike Emmerich, man, he was good. And he just taught me so much of the little stuff about hockey that just really made me love it. And I'm a huge Boston Bruins fan because that was the first team I saw play. It was Boston and Montreal. And they were playing in Boston, and the fans were just nuts. I mean, they were nuts for hockey. And, you know, Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito and Derek Sanderson and all those guys. And they were just, it was so much fun watching those guys play. And Bobby Orr was the greatest hockey player I've ever seen, bar none. There was nobody like Bobby Orr. He was so fast, just so fast, and he'd just run circles around people. He'd take the puck and just run circles around the other guys on the ice, and he'd go from one end of the ice to the other end and score a goal, just running circles around guys, and it's just amazing. I love Bobby Orr. Johnny Busick, and those were the good old days, man. But I love watching hockey to this day. I can watch just about anybody, any team play hockey. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who's playing, I'll watch the game. It's just I love the game. And I had a friend who played hockey and junior hockey. So I'd go to his games all the time, and one time we went up to see the Kings play. I think it was Montreal. I think it was either Montreal or Detroit. I don't remember. I can't remember. And we took a bus up with all the hockey players from the league that he was in. And so we were waiting outside after the game was over, we were waiting on the bus. And Chris Chelios, who used to play with some of the guys who were in this league when he was in junior hockey, he came out to the bus and was talking with everybody, and it was just so cool. He was so down to earth, such a great player. And I saw a great Chris Chelios story just the other day, and when he was playing with Detroit, and he and a couple other players, 4 players, they all went out for the night partying, and the coaches had called their room, and they didn't answer the phone. So they knew that they weren't in their room like they were supposed to be for curfew. So somebody else on the team called them and said, "Hey guys, look, they just called your room. You weren't in there. Coach is all ticked off. They're gonna suspend you guys for breaking curfew." So Chris Chelios and I forget the other player who he was talking about, they went into the hotel and they talked to the person at the front desk, and they said, "Look, we need to change rooms. This room isn't working for us. Can you just give us a different room?" And so the person gave them a different room, and they went up and they went to the new room and they slept off the night. And the next day they went to practice, and the coach says, Chelios, and I forget the other guy's name. He was a pretty well-known hockey player. Said, you guys are suspended for not being in your room. He goes, what do you mean? We were in our room. And he says, well, I called your room. And he said, well, what room did you call? And he said, room 101. We'll say 101. And he goes, oh, man, we moved out of that room. We aren't in that room. That's not our room. We're in room 110 or whatever. And he shows them the key to the room. It's room 110. And the coach goes, all right. You guys, I must have been a mistake or something, but they didn't get suspended. The other two guys got suspended. But because they had heard they were going to get suspended, they went in and changed their room number and then just acted like nothing happened. Everything was normal. Next day at practice, thinking, well, we're not in that room. That's not our room. That's the problem. He called the wrong number. Chris Chelios was a nice guy though when he came out and talked with us. I should get one of his jerseys one of these days. Red Wings have a cool jersey. I like the Blackhawks jerseys, Red Wings jerseys, and I like the Maple Leafs jerseys too, the big maple leaf on them. I used to play these blues festivals up in Canada every year, and I got to know one of the guys there, Jeff. And Jeff and I had a bet one year on the Olympics. We made a bet that USA would beat Canada, and whoever lost had to wear the other team's jersey to the blues festival. And well, Canada won, so I had to get a Team Canada jersey, and I got an old one with Guy Lafleur's name on it. Had Lafleur on the back, because I love Guy Lafleur. He was a great player. So I had to wear that up to the Blues Festival up in Canada, tell the whole story on stage, called Jeff up, and say I'm paying off my debt. I took my sweatshirt off and had the Canadian jersey on underneath it, and the place went crazy. It was fun, and I still talk to Jeff all the time, Jeff Cooper. Those were some fun times at those blues festivals up in Canada. Made some good friends at those blues festivals. So anyway, that's the latest here. I'm just going to finish this up. Sit out here, relax, just listen to the birds. I'm not really hearing the birds right now, so I don't know. Might just be my hearing. But anyway, I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. God bless.